Hey.
Hello. Wow. I was running out of time. I'm trying to finish this brief, and I was like, oh my God, it's Jodi Day. What are we doing?
Oh, I got a backup, and if you didn't make it, hello, Mr. Jingles.
Your mic arm, I think, is in the frame.
Oh,
there you go.
There. Jeez.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
I can see the chat now. I can't see the chat when I do YouTube Live, but when I do it through StreamYard, it works just fine.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm all out of wax today.
You're
but
all out of wax?
And we're here.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I got home maybe 20 minutes ago. Ugh.
So we're both having that kind of day.
Yeah.
Well, it's still, was it 5 o'clock still, or did you guys change clocks yet?
No, it's still 5 o'clock. It's I think when do we go? When do we use the proper time of year to go to summertime? Screw summertime, by the way.
Hey, everybody in the chat. Oh, you know what I should do? I should probably set up my stream. Did you link your chat to mine already?
Yep.
Or your stream?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
Already prepared. I even used you to create the illusion that.
I'm glad I gave you that ability. This is.
Oh, we are doing the summertime during Easter. Okay.
Oh, so, Easter, like Easter weekend.
Yeah, 30th to 31st.
Okay.
So another week and a half of this.
Then you'll be back on normal time.
Yeah. Hello, everybody out there. Vicky, Erin, it's me, Josie, Noshawa,
Wanda,
LS, Swan Lake.
Wanda's here just to hear you laugh. She says.
And thank you to John Commune for your $5 super chat. Donation to make Mr. Jingles a wooden scratching post that looks like Nick's leg fund. Yeah. I don't think he needs it, but I will attempt to do it.
You know what I think we need? I think we need you to stand up and show off that shirt. I'm just noticing that. Nice. Was it summertime there with short sleeve shirts?
No, it's laundry day.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, this is one of the shirts that drunk me got me a while back.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm having this enormously wrongful termination case, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, funny enough, that's what I'm working on.
Oh, from what end?
From the employee end, or employer end, rather. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not.
See, we can be on opposite sides, people, and still be friends.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do anything to Dave.
I have no control, so.
Oh yeah, you're on your paddy thing.
Yeah,
you're on your paddy thing. Now I know what you are doing afterwards, though.
Definitely, yep. That's what I'm doing.
Dave has no control. Won't
somebody please think of the children?
I want to stream from the laptop because the camera's crappy and the audio is crappy. But
no worries. I think your audience like you anyway. Even though you're semi-retired. Now it's Jodi Day, and another one of you showed up here. Oh, okay. Now it's Jodi Day, and today the defense is calling the prosecution's expert Dr.
Oh,
Janine DeMarte.
This is going to be a disaster, by the way.
She's a clinical psychologist, and I must say I don't really remember all that she said in the beginning, but she was quite early on just to say, no, Miss Arias is not, she might be a nut job, but no, no PTSD, no nothing of the sort. All of that is made up. So yeah, I mean, after the defense own shrink witnesses, I don't think it was a good idea to call the prosecution's expert clinical psychologist, because
no, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this is going to be a disaster, but I'm wondering, is this the person that testified already?
Yeah, she already testified way back when.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is going to be a disaster. Oh, should we talk about Tuesdays or no?
Yeah, we should.
As you can tell, we were both scrambling to get here, and I was in fact late.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do our Jodi days only on Saturdays going forward.
Yeah.
With trial coverage and our work schedules, it's becoming too cumbersome.
Mhm.
So I have more fun on Saturdays because I'm not stuck at the office working.
Yeah.
We can really sit back and enjoy it. So I think we're going to do it just on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And,
And after Easter, I'm done with the every 4 weekends. So I'm going back to a strict 6:30 to 2:30 schedule at work.
Nice.
So yeah, which means the days off I can get from working weekends are now gone, but I work only weekdays. So, and that is largely because of the viewers. Because I mean, the average, not income, but revenue from my channel does support me going. I mean, the money is great working every 4 weekends, but I'm not. I'm getting older, and I already trained my replacement, and yeah.
Ooh, that's not good to train your replacement.
On weekends, that person that goes, because what I do every 4 weekends is I go off-site.
For now, until
that person fucks up. And yeah, but then it is my superior's problem. So yeah.
There you go.
So that will be, now we are into the annual meetings stuff, and so I have those as well, because we have a bunch of new local unions or union clubs, and then you always have a few who are due to letdowns. No, not letdowns. What's the English word for it? Well, if a factory closes down or a warehouse closes down or something like that, the union club also has to disappear, and then I help out in getting all the papers in order.
Yes, I want all the fingers. Give me all the fingers. Exactly what I asked for.
Yeah. Now, Dave can have all the thumbs up, and you all wait to give me after the stream, do replay crew or something. But if you choose to not give the thumbs up, you have to super chat me $2. Okay? That way,
seems good.
Dave get because he's all about the pat on the back, thumbs up thingy.
That's what I want. I want to feel good inside. It's not about money for me, like it is for Nick.
And as a union rep and living in a socialist country, of course I care most of everything in the world, money.
Yeah.
Layoffs. Thank you, Mama Soros. Layoffs. It's called layoffs. Yeah. Thank you. All right. But here we go. And
I am gonna I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab something real quick.
okay. Again, Wilhelm Media. Everybody subscribe to him. Now I think he's above above 500 subscribers, but I mean, you need to have a safe distance, and so he can start earning a bit of ad revenue from his excellent audio enhancement thingy he does. The magic. And okay. It's me, Josie, over at Dave's place. Why? Says everybody, please hit the like. We always have a friendly competition with Nick. Let's go. Yeah, it's very, very friendly. But here we go. Day 48. The prosecution's expert witness, clinical psychologist, Dr. Janine DeMarte.
I'm back. I heard you talking about Vielhammer. He apparently didn't get monetized by YouTube, even though he's got the right numbers. They said he doesn't qualify, and I was wondering if it was because he didn't have any or very much original content. I don't know. It's weird. So he's got to go argue with YouTube.
Yeah, okay. That's really strange. I mean, there are plenty of channels that does, but I don't know. I don't know if they are monetized or not, but he was always welcome to join us here, and he can dual stream it to his channel, so you get.
Yeah.
And It's Me Josie gave you $10.
Gave me $10? Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Josie. Everyone, please hit the like. We always have a friendly competition with the Nick. Let's go.
And then Erin took her finger back. Thank you for your $2 for removing your finger.
I love that.
Thank you so much. All right, but here we go. Dr. Janine DeMarte, clinical psychologist. Now the defense will try to ruin her expertise because they did such a good job with their own experts.
This is like definition of going through the motions.
Record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Mr. Nurmi.
Your Honor, the defense.
Now, Mr. Nurmi.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, the defense rests.
All right, Mr. Martinez, the state may call its first rebuttal witness.
Oh, so this is a rebuttal witness. You're muted.
I had no idea the defense rested after that cluster F of La Voilette. I had no idea. I thought they would be calling. Okay, so it's okay, but then I understand this witness, because if it's a rebuttal
that makes
witness,
more sense.
Yeah.
Still
And I assume Angry Elf will use her to completely annihilate the defense so-called expert witnesses. All right. I have to change the. I have to change the thumbnail.
The state calls Janine DeMarte.
Janine DeMarte. She sounds familiar. Have we seen her before?
I think we have.
Maybe not in this case, but somewhere else. She just sounds like I know that name.
Well, I think she was in this trial because she for some odd reason, she kind of looks like Jodi. Same hairstyle and stuff.
Please come forward to be sworn.
No?
Can you spell your first and last name?
Janeen. Last name is DeMarte.
Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
She does look like Jodi from
Please
behind.
walk around
Doesn't
and
she?
have a seat.
Oh, how old is she now?
I have no idea.
Mr.
How come the
Martinez.
state always finds?
May I have your name, please?
Janeen DeMarte.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a clinical psychologist.
No, never mind.
And as part of being a clinical psychologist, where did you get your undergraduate degree?
University of Massachusetts
And when did you get that degree?
in 2002.
What area did you study to attain that degree?
My degree is in psychology.
And after that, did you continue your studies?
Yes.
And did you continue them at that same university or did you go somewhere else?
I went to Michigan State University.
And
Ooh.
you said that you received your degree what year?
My undergraduate was in 2002.
And you said you went to the University of Michigan. So you went to the University of Michigan what year?
I went to Michigan State University in 2003.
And in between there, what did you do?
I worked in
That was when my brother was there.
Oh, check if he knows her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe that's how I know the name.
Yeah, yeah.
He partied with her.
Da, 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 da. Check if you can get her on the show.
Yeah,
Because if your brother knows her,
yeah, we'll get her on maybe there's a connection there.
yeah.
2 research labs.
And what did you do in those research labs?
One research lab was focused on the externalizing behaviors of children. So what I would do in that research lab is conduct psychological evaluations.
And how many evaluations would you say you conducted?
That's hard to say. I would say roughly 50. I was administering tests during that time.
And so you conducted these evaluations. Did you do anything else?
I worked with the data that we received there. I worked with the various graduate students, the psychologist that was running the research study. I also worked in another research lab where I was the manager of the lab.
And then you said that in 2003, I believe you went to the University of Michigan?
Michigan State.
Michigan State. And
Does he even know his
what
own
was the
witness?
purpose of going to Michigan State?
I went there to begin school, to begin my doctorate, my PhD.
And that course, how long does it take?
I completed my master's degree there in 2005, and I completed my doctorate in 2009.
So it looks like you were there, what, about 5 years? Is that correct?
I was there 5 years.
And so you completed your studies in 2009, I think you said, correct?
I completed my actual studies in 2008. After you complete your studies, you have to complete a residency before you can formally get your doctorate.
And this residency, where did that take place?
Here in Phoenix, Arizona, at Arizona State Hospital.
I mean, this was 2013, so can't be on the field as a clinical psychologist more than a couple of years.
Yeah, got to be a very short period of time.
Yeah. That's
Not the best expert.
No, but if she has the opinions and has the correct field and everything, yeah. I don't see why she couldn't be an expert. It's just, I'm so used to having expert witnesses they start to pop up in their 40s.
Yeah, they're like ancient.
Yeah.
Well, you got to start somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah.
And how long was that residency?
It was a year.
And while you are doing this residency work, what is it that you do?
I worked at Arizona State Hospital. There's a number of different branches at Arizona State Hospital. They have what's called the forensic units, where those are where individuals who are deemed guilty except insane, instead of serving their time in prison, they get sent to Arizona State Hospital to get treatment.
And with regard to those individuals, what did you do?
I provided treatment and evaluation of those patients.
When you say treatment, specifically, what are we talking about, since we're going to be talking about evaluation?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Who said it in the chat? Someone said, who's on the stand? She's adorable. I thought that was fun.
JKD back.
This is the defense's first rebuttal witness, who's a clinical
the prosecution's first, the rebuttal witness.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, the prosecution's. I'm confused by the thumbnail now.
Yeah, I will send you the new one.
No worries.
Treatment. What is the difference?
In treatment, there's different modalities of treatment. Individual treatment would be counseling, sitting across from someone, identifying what their primary areas of concern are, and engaging in treatment to try and make them more functioning, alleviate symptoms.
And what else did you do there? You treated or counseled people. What else?
I also performed evaluations.
And how many evaluations would you say you performed during that period of time?
I would have to say roughly about 15.
And after that year, what did you do in terms of your education or becoming licensed?
After that year, I could have become licensed, but I chose not to become licensed at that time.
Why is that?
I wanted to spend the year engaging more with other psychologists who were in practice, so that I could get more experience and broaden my array of the different domains of type of work that I could do, rather than just going into, for example, becoming licensed and then working in a hospital or having my own private practice. I wanted more opportunity to work with various psychologists.
So when did you become licensed?
I became licensed in July of 2010.
And upon becoming or obtaining your license, where did you begin working?
I became the director of a large behavioral health agency here in Phoenix.
As the director of the behavioral health agency, specifically in terms of staff, did you supervise staff?
Yes, that was one of my primary roles.
So what kind of staff did you supervise?
I supervised a broad range of behavioral health staff, including master's level counselors, master's level social workers, also doctorate level, both at the MD and PhD level, nurse practitioners. I was essentially in charge of all of the training and all of the clinical work that was done in the agency.
You indicated that you supervised, I think, doctoral candidates. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the other thing that I did, is that one of my primary responsibilities was to create a training program. It ended up being quite large, roughly about 30 students. These were master's level and doctoral level students who were in the process of obtaining their degree. So for example, what I taught them how to do was conduct psychological evaluations, interpret test results, write reports, in addition to therapy.
So for example, in this case, did you have occasion to go visit the defendant in jail?
Yes.
And when you went to visit the defendant in jail, did somebody come with you?
Yes.
Who was that?
Dr. Celeste Corson. At the time, she had already obtained her degree, but she was in that situation that I highlighted earlier, where she was not, she had not received her license yet. So she was shadowing me to learn how to do forensic evaluations.
Do you think Angry Elf sent her there because she looks like Jodi Arias a bit?
Yeah, I don't know. Or if it was just because she was the only one that could really step up and do this. She's the only one around.
Yeah.
She just seems really young. It's interesting, though, how most of the state experts are attractive when compared to the defense experts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just an interesting thing I've noticed. I'm going back to like the Barbie detective and Travis Rudolph and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
Even really Johnny Depp, you know, he's the plaintiff, right? And you know, that's just funny.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be. I mean, if she when did she conduct these interviews? Because if they're on trial now, she has to have done this. I mean, 15 evaluations. I mean, she cannot be.
Was it 15 of Jodi or just period?
No, 15 evaluations in total, and then she evaluated Jodi.
So the thing with qualifying an expert is it's not about your education or like a number of times you've done things. It's basically, do you have knowledge over an appreciable amount of time that you gained by doing something and combined with your education, so that you have special knowledge that you can convey to the jury that they otherwise wouldn't know. That's really the issue. I don't know, 15 evaluations, I feel like I've done more. I'm not a shrink.
Yeah.
Am I muted?
I can hear you.
That's weird if I'm muted.
Great Success says there's a lot of BS coming from these so-called psychologists. Yeah, but we haven't heard this one before. So, yes, Patty, she has a resemblance to Jodi.
Oh, I forget I chat as you.
I'm not muted. They can hear you. Patty can hear you.
Josie, you just got to turn up the volume, that's all.
You indicated that you also supervised those that had a master's in this field. Specifically, what did you do with regard to them?
Individuals who have a master's degree typically do not do evaluations, so I did not train them how to do evaluations. Rather, my primary role with them was to train them how to be clinicians, how to be therapists.
We had somebody by the name of Alice.
I mean, that's a very strong career, because 2009 she got she spent a year, then she waited to get licensed. I mean, and this is in 2013. She can't have been licensed more than 3 years.
Yeah.
And now she's training people with master's degrees. But
I know that was almost straight out of school. She starts training people.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. I have no idea.
I have no idea. It's me, Josie. She was muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laviolette, who testified here. Are you familiar with her?
Yes.
And in terms of where she falls in this continuum of education, where would she fall?
She has her master's degree in counseling, or marriage and family counseling.
Is she somebody that you told us that you supervise these individuals? Would she be somebody that you also supervised in your previous position?
Yes.
And so you have those that have the doctorate and are training, you have those that have the master's. Did you supervise anybody else? Or is that it?
That would cover everybody.
What type of work or what type of services were provided by this place where you were working?
The behavioral health agency.
Right.
They provided a broad array of services. The age range was quite wide. We provided services as young as 2, and I think our oldest patient was 99, somewhere around there. We provided therapy and evaluation.
So during this time, it appears that you had a supervisory role, but at that time, did you also have a role in, for example, any of the treatment that was going on with the patients there?
Yes.
And specifically, tell me how it was that you were involved in the treatment aspect of your job.
Well, my primary role was a director there, but in addition to that, I did see my own patients. In terms of therapy, I had a handful of individual therapy patients that I would see on a regular basis. And I also conducted forensic evaluations in addition to being the primary lead on all of the evaluations that were done by any of the doctoral level students.
And what kind of issues were presented there? In other words, what would you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
In terms of the evaluations?
Yes.
The type of questions that were posed primarily was, what was the diagnostic picture of this individual? A lot of times the evaluations that we conducted were coming from children who had been in the system for quite a while and had sometimes, unfortunately, 6, 7 different diagnoses. And they would send them to us to help determine what is going on with them, what is their actual diagnosis, so as to help with treatment.
And as part of working there, did you also have any occasion to have any contracts with any superior courts for evaluations?
I did conduct evaluations during that time.
And which county? Was it this county or another county?
This county and Pinal County.
We've been talking about treatment and we've been talking.
Okay, now we know why he might have used her, because she's been used by the Superior Court in this very county.
Okay, that makes sense. She must have gotten on a list.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years supervisor and prior experience in expert testimony. That's a rocket career.
Yeah, she must be like, I don't know. For her to advance that quickly, I have to imagine she's got some special quality. Not that kind of quality. I mean, like she's smart or like really intuitive or a go-getter or something. But she also does have that quality too.
Mm. Dun, dun, dun.
Boy, that face could kill right there. Okay, I'm gonna Google her.
Yeah, I'm doing that too. She is 43 now, so she would have been 32 at the time.
Is she married?
We are both taken. Oh, should we stand Sal to her for evaluation?
That's what I was thinking. We could send Salvador there. Like, he needs a mental health evaluation. She looks. This is kind of a grainy image, but she looks sort of better now. I'm looking at her profile on her company website.
Mm. Yeah, but looking at older pictures, she actually looks a bit like Jodi in some. Yeah.
I'm messaging her to see if she wants to do an interview.
Oh, good.
Talking about evaluation, starting with evaluation. Tell me what an evaluation is and what the purpose is of an evaluation, and so that we can then compare it to treatment. What is an evaluation in a forensic setting?
The psychological evaluation is a comprehensive assessment to determine whatever it is the referral question is, which again is usually what is a person's diagnostic picture.
So you're looking to determine a person's diagnostic picture at the time that you're conducting the evaluation, right?
If that's the referral question, yes.
And how is that different than treatment? It seems to me that you're going to be talking to both of them at the same time, right?
You do talk to both of them. They're very separate roles.
Well, how is treatment different than the evaluation for forensic purposes?
An important part of therapy, treatment, is that you develop a relationship with a person. You develop a closeness with them. Whereas in an evaluation, you're an independent evaluator, so is that you're not biased. If, for example, I was to be asked to provide an independent evaluation on any of my therapy clients that I see right now, I would not be able to do that. I have a relationship with them already.
So is there an ethical issue involving a situation where you're both a treating psychologist as well as someone who's evaluating that individual?
Absolutely, especially if you're called in as an expert witness.
So when you do this evaluation, do you go in, for example, and say to yourself, well, this is the person I've been contacted, and so I think that this person has, let's just pick something out of the air as a diagnosis, PTSD. So assuming that's what you think, do you then go about, as part of that evaluation, looking for items that confirm that diagnosis of PTSD, if that is your hypothesis?
No, it's not a good idea to go in with a hypothesis, because if you do that, then you're leaving out all the other possibilities. And that's our job as clinical psychologists, to be able to identify a broad array of symptoms so as to take that into consideration.
So what's the approach that is supposed to be taken with regard to an evaluation?
Well, typically in evaluation, forensic evaluation, we receive records first. It's not always a comprehensive amount of records that we end up receiving, but we get some records first.
And what is it that you do with the records? What happens? So you get records, and what happens?
Read the records, review them, and certainly from those records, there can be indicators in there that there are certain diagnoses that may be present versus others.
As part of those records that you get, when you read these records, I heard what your education was, but as part of that education, as a psychologist, does a psychologist have a special power, if you will, to go behind, for example, the words that are written down and say, well, if a person says up, they really mean down? Is that something that you are taught when you attend school?
No, if I understand your question correctly, what we do is we use those records as objective data. You take it at face value for what it says, and then you integrate it down the road into something meaningful.
When you say you take those records as objective data, what are you saying about the records that you are calling objective data?
What I mean by that is if I look at it and then I give it to somebody else, that they'll read and see the exact same thing. It's objective.
So for example, if it has the word to, T-O-O, are you saying then that somebody else could then, who can read, can then take that same document, for example, and read the word T-O-O, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
So for example, if we take a look at one exhibit here, it's 456. Have you read this before?
Yes.
We have here something that says, I haven't written because there has been nothing noteworthy to report. A psychologist, do they have the, ability to somehow look at that and say, for example, it says, I haven't written because there has been nothing noteworthy to report. Do you have the ability to say, I haven't written because there has been something noteworthy to report. Is that the kind of thing that you do when you read reports in anticipation of this evaluation?
What?
I read
That
it
was
for
a
face
stupid
value. I
question.
read it for what it says.
So objectively, what does that first sentence say?
I haven't written because there's been nothing noteworthy to report.
Do you go behind the words and say, well, this person said there hasn't been anything noteworthy to report, so
I
I'm going to
just
go
love
behind
Doug
the
lashing
word
out.
and say, yes, there has been something noteworthy to report, just because I'm a psychologist.
No, that's just one piece of objective data that would be later integrated.
So, but do you have the ability to go back and say, you know, I'm going to change this word here, nothing, to something else, just because you're a psychologist?
No.
Is there anything in the schooling of a psychologist that allows you to take a look at an objective word, or a word that's printed out? Is there a course, or is there anything out there that allows a psychologist to say, well, they wrote that, but the word nothing doesn't mean nothing? Is there anything out there that allows you to do that?
No.
How about the people that have worked for you? Somebody who has a master's and is a psychotherapist, and they've been working, let's say, for 30, 35 years. Do they, to your knowledge, do they have this special ability to go behind whatever's written down and say, we're going to disregard it and just trust me as a psychotherapist when it says something else than what is printed there?
Objection, not speculation and lack of knowledge to comment on 34 years of experience.
Chris Mullen,
Anything
angry Elf
that you
is
know that
yelling
would
at
allow,
all
when you train
witnesses.
these people and you supervise, a psychotherapist with a master's to go behind the words.
No, and I'm very familiar with the curriculum.
And so, for example, in this case, there was this talk about the law of attraction. How familiar are you with that?
I've heard of it.
And is this some sort of doctrine that Michigan State had a course in?
No.
How about, I think you said you went to school in Massachusetts, correct?
Correct.
Perhaps back in the East Coast, did they have some sort of course out there that taught the law of attraction as part of a psychology degree?
No.
Is that a psychology type of concept, this law of attraction?
Not in the way that it's used in, I believe it's called The Secret.
So with regard to The Secret, what is The Secret?
Objection, speculation, knowledge. You just heard of it.
Overall, can we answer the question?
My knowledge of it is limited. It's this,
Overall.
it's the idea of putting out positivity.
And The Secret, is that a movie or what is it? You know, movie, or it's just the concept that you know
I
about?
believe it is a movie.
Is The Secret required reading, or is it The Secret part of the training that you received while you were?
In my non-objective opinion, The Secret is sort of a roadmap on how to become trapped in a cult.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's you have to. There's this on the face thing as if you really want something, put that goal in front of your face so you will always reach it, which is nice and funny. As in, Nick, your dream car is a Dodge Challenger wide body red eye. And so in order for me to project that and get to that goal, I will have a picture of it on my fridge.
You know, it sounds like that sex cult out of Michigan, the one that's like forcing people to couple up and stuff. That's, I bet you where they got the idea from.
Yeah. And a lot of that. And then as you go deeper and deeper, because remember, Dad recommended it, and then we had to talk about it. And I dissected it a bit for him. And now after that, he was no longer a fan of it. I don't know, it might help. It's for vulnerable people, how to get them into a certain line. And then once they get through this phase of it, then you can sell courses and all of that crap. So
maybe I should read it and start implementing it here for people that subscribe to me.
Sex cult out of Michigan, you mean Christianity? Welcome to the clergy. Yeah, welcome to the clergy.
We did a story on a while back.
Oh. Is it something that involves 3 whole wonders?
No. So what it actually is it starts off as like a religious sort of feel good about yourself sort of group. And then they say that there's a specific person out there in the world for you. And when you find that person, you can't take no for an answer. So it's led to some of their followers getting stalking charges and harassment, PPOs against them. And they're like, no, still go for it. He's your destiny. And then when that started turning south, then they started saying, oh, well, this other follower is actually your true love. And you must pair up with this person, despite the fact that it's another woman and you're not really a lesbian. You know, it's just all kinds of weird stuff.
Does that sound like anybody we know in this trial?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that sounds a lot like Jodi. Oh, zoom in. It doesn't really matter if it's good for you or not. And then stabby, stabby, shooty, shooty, slicey, slicey.
For conducting your 1 year at the Arizona State Hospital, is that something that you even came across as part of your psychology training before you were actually licensed?
I came across it in terms of patients bringing it up and it causing problems in treatment.
When you say it was causing problems in treatment, specifically, what are you talking about?
Well, when I'm in a therapeutic role, my goal is to teach my patients or work with them on how to become balanced and how to view the world in a balanced way, because there are negative things that happen in life and there's also positive things. And so The Secret encourages people to only focus on the positive aspects of life, which unfortunately just causes disappointment quite a bit.
So as part of you've told us that as part of a forensic evaluation, you do read some materials. You've told us that, correct?
Correct.
Did you do that in this case?
Yes.
And then after you read these materials, you're familiar with at least what the individual has written, correct?
Based on whatever was provided me at that time.
And in this case, there were materials provided to you in conjunction with somebody by the name of Jodi Arias, correct?
That's correct.
Is she in the court today?
Yes.
Tell me where she is seated and what she is wearing.
She's sitting right over here with a beige shirt.
If you could just point her.
Jodi took off her glasses.
She has tiny eyes. Have I never
Yeah.
noticed that before? She got tiny eyes.
Yeah. And weird is it that the moment an attractive psychologist with similar hair color at least, with no glasses.
You thinking one
Glasses
of her
are
holes
off.
is throbbing with jealousy right now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Out for me, please. Judge, may the record reflect the identification of the defendant?
Yes.
So as part of this evaluation process, you've now read what this individual has written. What is the next step that is taken with regard to a forensic evaluation?
I then scheduled to go see the individual.
And is there, for example, a mandate, for example, that you are to see this individual, I don't know, over 40 hours? Is there such a requirement, for example, that you see somebody that many hours?
No.
And in fact, do you consider 40 hours to be average, below average, or above that?
It's extreme.
When you say it's extreme, what does that mean?
I've never heard of someone spending so much time. Are you speaking about a full evaluation?
Somebody sitting and talking to the defendant for 44 hours as part of a clinical interview.
As just a clinical interview,
Correct.
that makes it even more extreme.
Why is that?
Well, in clinical practice, just generally in evaluations, first of all, we're not afforded the opportunity to spend that much time. Typical clinical interviews, if we're talking about just regular evaluations, range anywhere from an hour to maybe 3 or 4 hours. In forensic evaluations, it certainly is more time because usually we do have access to more records. They tend to be a little bit more complicated. So clinical interviewing certainly can last longer.
And so with the 44 hours, is there a danger associated with spending that much time?
Yeah, Dr. Lavalette spent, what was it, 10 to 12 occasions and a grand total of 44 hours with her and buying her books and stuff like that. Because as a psychotherapist, she is not, she doesn't have the rules that...
She didn't buy him the book. The sex therapist bought her the book, right?
No, but she testified that Lavalette that she gave Jodi books.
Everyone's given her books, apparently. Did someone give her The Secret while she was in there?
I have no idea. No, she knew about The Secret prior to... She wrote about it in her diary.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
With an individual talking?
The first thing that I think of when someone spends 44 hours with another individual in a clinical setting is that it becomes therapeutic, or it comes to mind maybe some of my students who weren't very good at clinical interviews yet, and they really didn't know what to look for, and so they ended up taking much more time doing
That's
it.
a shot.
And you did conduct a clinical interview with the defendant, correct?
Yes.
So when you walked into this clinical interview and you sat down to talk to her, when did you apologize to her?
I didn't apologize to her.
Why not? Why wouldn't you apologize? You read her journals, didn't you?
I did.
So as part of a forensic interview, do you see anything problematic with apologizing to the person that you are going to interview?
Objection, speculation, and knowledge.
I don't see the need to apologize to anybody. That seems odd.
Why does it seem odd to come in and apologize to somebody?
Apologize for what?
Or whatever it is that you had to speak to them? Is that something that you would do?
Objection, speculation.
It would certainly give the impression that that person feels bad for them or has a relationship outside of that independent evaluator. It's odd. I don't know of people who go in and apologize. It doesn't make sense to me.
If an individual, if you, for example, were to go in and apologize and you said that you feel bad, if you felt that walking into the interview, do you think that?
Sorry, what did you say?
He should be forced to put that in the context, because it's not just like you walk in and say, I'm sorry. The context was having read the journal and what you claim to have experienced, I'm sorry. You know, that was the context of it. So he should be forced to put that in the context. I think her objection should have been sustained and he should have been forced to put that in the context.
Yeah, or,
I mean, I know she could just get at it with cross-examination.
She can speculate, but you could I would have do a speaking objection. Objection, Your Honor. This needs to be put into context.
Yeah.
Objection.
You know, I haven't heard many speaking objections in this trial. Like,
no, it might be the judge, her controlling the courtroom, because there is a decent amount of sidebars.
Yeah.
Not as much as in the Young Thug trial, where we currently are at 106 sidebars after 40 to 43 days. And
I will say, Jung is asking, did she watch the short-haired lady? Because her answers are more specific. When you're confident in your positions, it's easier for your answers to be specific. She's on direct right now. And if you listen to the short-haired lady, while I don't agree with anything she had to say, her answers were confident and straightforward for the most part on direct. It's cross where everyone gets tripped up. So we'll see how, directed, specific this woman is on cross.
Yeah, but I do think that she evaluated La Voilette. It was in the beginning. Angry Elf said the name in some. The wording of it was more or less, have you checked the work of La Voilette or something of the sort?
Yeah. Oh.
That's a problem in terms of your objective conduct of this interview.
Yes, and I think that's primarily why, or one of the reasons why some psychologists choose to not be evaluators, because they have a difficult time taking an objective approach and not feeling compassion towards the person, being able to go in there and be an objective evaluator.
So with regard to this issue of compassion, is that something, again, being compassionate during these forensic evaluations, is that something that is taught, for example, at Michigan State University? Is there a course that says when you go in, you need to be compassionate with these people that you are evaluating forensically?
No, you shouldn't feel that compassion. You should go in there as an independent.
And again, why wouldn't you feel this compassion toward this individual?
It would just bias your results.
Pardon?
It would bias your results and make you sway more in finding things that might be more helpful for them. If you feel bad for them, you want to help them.
And is that problematic if you are just there to evaluate them and provide an opinion involving a diagnosis?
Yes, because the results are not going to be accurate.
Well, as part of your evaluation with the defendant, how many hours did you devote to the clinical interview in this case?
The clinical interview was roughly 12 hours, which is a lot, which is high for a clinical interview.
Did that clinical interview that you're talking about, did that include the administration?
Sorry?
That would be so exhausting to spend 12 hours with Jodi Arias. Oh my God, I'd be going.
Yeah. La Voilette did 44 hours.
But she's supposed to be like somewhat favorable. She's kind of taking her side. To be the opposition expert and have to spend 12 hours with her. Like, that would be
Oh.
my position. Like, I don't think I could get in her camp or in her corner, even if I really tried to twist my mind around. To have to sit and listen to her for 12 hours would be just so exhausting.
Yeah.
Any forensic tests?
Not in those 12 hours. I did additional testing on top of that.
So for example, for the 12 hours that you spoke with her, with the defendant, there was not any, the testing was separate and apart from those 12 hours, right?
That's correct.
And once you were done with those 12 hours and the testing was done, did you then have occasion to, let's say, 10 months later, go back to see the defendant?
I did not.
Well, why wouldn't you go back to see the defendant after you are done with your evaluation?
Objection, Judge Improper.
Oh.
She's had, by the way, from what I gather, she's had like dozens of girlfriends in prison. And apparently she can't keep somebody even when she's locked up with them. They all end up cheating on her.
Yep. And you kind of need at least two of them at the same time to reach all the, nothing. Skip ahead.
After you conducted this forensic interview and you were done with the forensic interview, is there any need, after you're done with an interview as a forensic examiner and conducting an evaluation, is there a need to go back and then speak with the person that you have just evaluated?
If I was uncertain about if I had received new data that suggested something different than what I had already concluded after I had conducted my testing and clinical interviewing, then I would potentially go back.
But aside from that, is there a need to go back if there's no new data or you were uncertain about your opinion? And if you were certain about your opinion?
Not for any ethical reasons that I can think of.
And so with regard to this evaluation, and when you're conducting this evaluation, do you ever bring gifts to the person or do you ever provide gifts to the person that you are evaluating?
No, that's inappropriate.
Why is it inappropriate to provide a gift to somebody you are evaluating?
That's creating what's called a multiple relationship. It's what we talked about a little bit earlier about the difference between what is a therapist and what is an evaluator. As an evaluator, you want to be an independent person that's not influencing the individual in any kind of way.
In this case, one of the things that we've heard, and have you been provided with Richard Samuels' notes in this case?
Yes.
And after having been provided with those notes, it indicates that he made a gift of a book called The Erroneous Zones to the defendant.
Objection as to the wording, there was never a gift mentioned. That's a statement.
With regard to this book, it was provided by Mr. Samuels to the defendant, The Erroneous Zones. Are you familiar with the book, The Erroneous Zones?
I'm not familiar with that.
So if you are evaluating somebody, have you ever, in your experience, ever provided, for example, a book to somebody?
No.
And have you ever provided a book that may be a self-help book as part of this evaluation?
No, aside from it being creating a multiple relationship, I would be concerned about how that book might influence their response to any of my testing or how they responded to the clinical interview.
And what do you mean how they would respond? Exactly what are you talking about?
They may learn new information in there that they could use to then give the false pretense that they have whatever it says in the book, or it could teach them something that they didn't know before. The whole point of an evaluation is to evaluate the person for who they are.
And when you say that as part of this evaluation, you spent how many hours in the clinical interview, the speaking portion?
Roughly 12.
And what is the purpose of the clinical interview? As, for example, in this case?
The clinical interview affords me the opportunity to learn about Ms. Arias. It gave me the opportunity to ask her about, for example, her medical history, her social history, her ability to connect with other people, her educational history, also her psychological history, what her symptoms looked like when she was a child versus adult. I covered a broad array of areas that are typically covered in a clinical interview.
And did you also cover, for example, in this particular case, what her sexual experiences may have been?
Yes.
And did you also cover other areas of her relationship with Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Part of this interview. Then you also said that you conducted some testing, correct?
Correct.
What's the purpose of conducting testing?
It's kind of like I described earlier when we had written communication or records. It's just another piece of data. The good thing about testing is that it provides another objective viewpoint.
And the people that work for you, those that had the masters and that were the psychotherapists in the state of Arizona, can they provide or give tests to an individual that they are working with?
It's a very restricted amount of testing that they can do. Essentially what they can do is what's called being a psychometrist, which means that they're able to administer tests, but they are not able to, unless they're under the supervision of a psychologist, they're not able to interpret it.
And in this case, one of the reports, did you have a report from Richard Samuels?
Yes.
Is that the only report that you had?
No.
What other report did you have?
I also,
Okay. We are coming up on 1 hour. And it appears like the defense really don't want this expert to testify about the other experts' reports. I don't think that will succeed.
No, I don't either, because that's one of their primary things that they do.
Yeah, she's a rebuttal witness. She's there to rebut the defense experts.
Yes.
So, yeah. It might be something else. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But we are coming up on an hour. I'm going to... Yeah, I was checking in on the person we might redirect you to.
She's the only one live right now.
Yeah, she's doing it live. So, yeah. This is a good time as any, because we're in the middle of a sidebar. And I think this will be really good.
Yeah, I'm very interested in hearing what she has to say going forward on direct and then cross-examination.
Yeah, especially on cross-examination. I mean, direct, we know by now, okay, she's going to annihilate the defense experts. She already started. During, this will be...
Well, she just sounds so much more confident than the defense experts.
Yeah, I mean, she sits there, confident, answers the questions. Even the unexpected questions, she answers boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
remember, this is our last Tuesday Jodi stream. We're going to Saturdays only going forward, just because of our work schedules and everything. It's a little too difficult to interrupt the day on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So, and Saturdays are more fun because we can go longer and all that.
Yeah. And if you give us incentives on Saturday, we might do a little bit longer than 2 hours with the right incentives. And as you know,
that's right.
I care all about the monies.
I'm prepared to stream all day on Saturday. It just depends if you guys are.
All right. But we will be sending you off to Megan Fox, because she's doing a stream about 12 families that sue Lehigh Valley Medical and CA Pediatrician for false allegations. It's one of the a class action suit by parents who was falsely accused of abuse of their kids and getting their kids taken away. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, go tell her we said hi.
Yeah, go tell us we said hi and everything. And we will see you, all of you, bring friends on. Yeah, I'm just listening in. She's still on.
I was like, wait a minute. You guys have a few seconds. Go blast us to the Megan Fox crew.
Yeah. Bring friends on Saturday, noon Eastern Standard, 5 p.m. Swedish time. Okay. See you around.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
The State of Arizona versus Jodi Arias verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder.